All right, what's up, Facebookers and social media lights and all that other good, happy stuff? What's up? Happy new Thursday, I guess. New race week, new everything.
One more weekend.
I got headphones.
Thank God. Thank God.
Thanks, Gary.
Hopefully this show goes smoother than last week.
Listen, man. Listen, we have spent a lot of money this week. Danny Creeden's joining us. Grant Hilfiger. We spent a ton of money, so we should be all right? We spent $20.
$20, yeah. Big spenders. Big spender.
So
listen,
yeah, go ahead. What's up?
I say at least we got it right when Hearn was on, because we would never heard the end of that one.
Yeah, dude, that would have been horrible.
That would have been bad.
Yeah, but it's all good, man. We got it. So let's not waste any more time. I know he's over there in the green room. You guys were talking before, and let's bring in straight off a feature win at the Orange County Fair Speedway, and I do believe he started deep in the field, Mr. Grant Hilfiger. What's going on, man? How are you?
What's
I'm
up?
Good, man. Life's good.
Yeah. So let's get right to it. Coming straight off a feature win, Orange County Fair Speedway. You started deep in the field. Take us through that, man. It was looked like it was a little rough and tumbly there a little bit with one of the restarts.
Yeah, definitely. We started 10th, and I think we got up to third pretty quick. Maybe fourth. Had a race going with Conklin and boy, I'm forgetting his name. The 4 cars, a superstar young guy coming
Allen.
up. He's
Right?
Josh
Allen.
Josh Allen. Yep.
That kid's gonna win some races as soon as he gets it figured out. But we got by Conklin, we got by Allen, and leader nowhere to be found. Like Troy was checked out, so I was really thankful when I seen the caution flag come out. So I got to do some racing with him, a couple laps, and I still didn't think I was gonna have anything for him. And then we got another restart. I turned it down in there, and I'd never heard his side of the story. I haven't talked to him, but I know what happened. He didn't turn. So we got kind of hooked up together, and we started bouncing up the track. And my motor stalled at one point, and thank God it refired. We disconnected, and I was able to keep going. There were some tore up cars there. I'm glad that our piece stayed together. And we clicked off the last, I think, 6 or 7 laps, and we were able to get one.
It's I've been a long time friend of Troy's, and I don't think any malice was meant there. I think he was just, he's still chasing that first sportsman win. He was really good in this pro stocks.
Yeah.
I think it was just a racing deal, man. I think he was just trying to run hard and oops.
I never am one to point the finger because I've done way worse with way, it is what it is.
No.
You're going for that win. You're doing what you got to do, and I know stuff happens. I'm thankful I was able to keep going. He'll get there. He's got a really fast car. Hig Fab chassis are, I think, the ticket at Middletown right now. I think they've been for a while. Those guys really built a good car, and Troy's is as good as mine. And he's just he'll get it. And once he gets the first one, he'll realize how hard he's worked to, to finish second. Sometimes you beat yourself, and I think that was the case.
So for those who don't know, because we are talking to Mr. Grant Hilfiger. He's a sportsman driver down the Orange County Fair Speedway. Correct me if I'm wrong. You were not the champion last year, but the year before, right? The Von Dorn
Correct.
kid got you guys.
2019, and Von Dorn got it in 2020.
Yeah. So no stranger to open wheel racing. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I want to say early 2000s, you were in a big block modified for a little while.
Yeah, I think it was 2004 after doing my own sportsman, and I think I had a modified motor that I ran here and there. Nick Noel called me, and he's like, hey, why don't you come run my big block in Middletown? And being young and dumb and whatever, I said, yeah, why not? That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
And we did have some fun, but it definitely probably should have been a ride that I said, nah, I'm not ready for that. But, looking back, I met some great people. I got my feet wet at Middletown, and it was kind of like a little family reunion coming back to hang out with people that I met early 2000s when I did finally come back in 2019.
Yeah, so we were talking before, and I said, we know each other. I think that you forgot me, though. So back when you were running the modified, I want to say it was number 6.
Yep.
Red number 6. Okay, so myself and Eddie Walters used to park right next to you over in turn 4. I had a blue Camaro then. And
I definitely know because I came from the pure stock street stock ranks, so I always pay attention to you guys. So I definitely remember.
I had an issue one night. You came in and you helped Ed, and I had a lot of issues back then. I still do, but we're not going to get into that. But you came in, man, and one of them guys that just that jumped in and helped out, and I never ever forgot that. And dude, that's and then to see you back doing what you're doing it's amazing, dude. You guys have got it figured out here lately.
Yeah, definitely. It took me a lot of years to realize what I was doing wrong, so I think I got a lot of that behind me, and realized how simple you can keep things and still be good. You know, I show up at the racetrack. If I finish last or win the next day, it don't affect my life. So I just kind of go in there with an open mentality, and when I leave that racetrack, I'm smiling no matter what happens. So I still enjoy helping other guys. I enjoy other guys' success. You know, if Troy Arnold would have won that race, I'd have smiled just as big as if I had won that race. It's cool watching all these young guys and all the guys in the other classes. So I'm a fan, and I'm lucky that I get to do what I get to do.
Yeah. And he said, we were talking off air, he said 15 racing Maka Tech too, Joel, or street stocks at Maka,
really?
Pure Stocks at Maka Tech, yep.
You bet I still kick myself. I had an opportunity to go run there one night, and I was like, nah, I'll do it. You know, I think we want to put an Accord or something, and man, I should have went. I should have went. I've never even stepped foot in that place. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a neat place.
But So you spent some time in the modifieds, and then you said, so did you left racing completely, or you went somewhere else? Because I know you were running Middletown, and then all of a sudden you disappeared, and then when you came back on fire, and I even said to Timmy Pitts, I said, keep an eye on this guy. I said he's not a rookie, and Timmy, no, I said, I'm telling you, this guy's been around. Watch.
Yeah.
So did you race something else, or you just took time off?
So I went back to sportsman racing a little bit in the Southern Tier, Penn Can, 5 Mile, Thunder Mountain. I mean, I think 2009 we ran like 50 races. So I didn't disappear. I just kind of regrouped. I realized I needed some nicer stuff. So, with that came harder work. So me and my dad have a plumbing business. So we were killing ourselves working. And 2008, 2009, I was able to win the Sportsman Track Championship at Penn Can. And then, we moved up to the modified again. And I was able to win some races there. I think I won 3 races at Penn Can and went out to Woodhull. I won a modified race there. But about 2014, I really got busy with work. I started another business. I ended up buying a flooring store, so now I had 3 businesses, some rentals, and there just wasn't enough time in the day. So I stepped aside, and I bought a couple really good cars for Billy Van Pelt. And I think 2015, 16, and 17, he drove my stuff out at Woodhull, and I would go out and drive the backup car maybe 5 times a year. So I stayed involved, but as the owner's standpoint, and that was cool too. I really, really had a good time with that.
Yeah.
So what was the deciding factor for you to get back in? I mean, because you're pretty much every time you open up social media, man, you're everywhere and you're winning everywhere. What was your what was the thing to get back into it?
Early in 2017, at that point, my daughter was 9 years old, and she was able to do some more and being more involved. So I think I bought a sportsman car, and I went to Penn Can. I think I won 3. I think I showed up there 5 times and won 3 races. So, and she was on the roof dancing with me. She's in the pits rolling tires around. And I thought, what, this would be a pretty good opportunity to bring this back home. And at that point in 2017, we ran a full season at Woodhull, and we ran all the Deo North Series stuff. And I think I only seen my car race 5 times. So I'm like, well, it's fun. We won the championship. I love winning. I love Billy Van Pelt and his crew, but it just wasn't hitting home for me. So I brought the car back, and at that point, Jerry had done some fabrication work for me, and I said, if I ever come back local racing, I'm going to get a Hig Fab. So I ordered a new car up, and at that time, I had modified motors. So we went to Big Diamond and had some motor issues, and it just wasn't a fun season. So I was talking to Jerry, and he's like, why don't you come race Middletown? I said, well, my motor isn't 358 legal, and I'm not going big block racing. It wouldn't feel good spending that much money at this point in my life. So we went crate racing. So between 2018, I ran 1 crate race in the fall at Thunder Mountain, and then we just geared up for a full assault on Orange County in 2019, and that's we won the hard clay open, we won the points opener, and we just kept on trucking from there.
Yeah, and that's the thing when you won that hard clay open there. You came there with a plain white car, if I'm correct, right? Plain white car, and not many people might known who you were, but they learned real quick who you was.
Who you were. Nobody knew. Yeah. And that was one of those nights where I looked at Timmy, and Timmy said, "Oh, I don't have anything on this guy." And I said, "Timmy, dig back further, man." I was like, "This guy's been around. He's been around."
Yeah.
And so it just clicked, and it's there's a handful of you guys that are able to get through the pack the way you are. There's you, I think Bruning's one of them. Yeah. Corey Cormier's another guy. What is it is it the chassis that Jerry's got? I mean, because the guy knows the place like the back of his hand. What is it that you think you guys have figured out that makes you so good in Orange County?
It's definitely a lot to do with the Hig Fab chassis. I don't know how to explain it without. I have the confidence. No matter how hard I drive into that turn, my car is going to turn and it's going to stick. Mm-hmm. So once you get that feel, and as a driver, you're confident. I could run it against the wall. I can run it around the bottom. I can run it in the middle. So basically, I go down the straightaway. I see where the guys move their checkers or chess board in front of me, and I just fill the gap because I got the confidence in my car. And on top of the chassis, the Hig Fab crew maintains my car. So there's a certain aspect of confidence there too, because, with my busy schedule, I might say, well, that didn't give me problems, so I'm going to overlook that this week. Those guys don't overlook anything. I go up there sometimes Wednesday and I look at my car and I'm like, guys, are we racing Saturday? Because they have it completely tore apart. They don't miss a thing, and that really, really helps, especially when I'm out on the road and touring. I just have the confidence my stuff isn't going to fall apart. When it's not falling apart, you're not working on putting it back together. You're working on getting faster.
Yeah. Now, have you always run a Hig Fab chassis, or what was some of the chassis that you've run?
I've ran through the 2000s, late 2000s, early 2000s. I was always a TO fan. We always had TO cars, and they did good by us. And then when I got connected with Billy Van Pelt, he's ran Bicknells for 20 plus years, so that's what we did. And when I was car owner, and next thing I had a bunch of cars. Me and Joey Grammas hooked up together, and I said, here, take this car to 5 Mile Point. It was a brand new car, and sailed it down in there, lap one of the feature, and put the front end right off of it. Well, we're not going to Canada or Niagara Falls to get a front clip, so we called up Jerry, and Jerry said, yeah, bring that thing over. Monday afternoon we picked up the car, and it was just seamless. It wasn't like, oh man, why don't you have one of our cars? It was, hey, I appreciate your business. Here's your bill. He didn't thump us over the head. He was fair. He took care of us. And when I left that day, I said, if I ever come back local racing and I do my deal, I'm in a Hig Fab chassis. And I'll tell you right now, I'll be in a Hig Fab chassis as long as he's building them, and as long as I'm racing, I'll be driving the Hig Fab chassis.
Yeah, he's that's something a lot of guys don't see. I mean, even myself, back in when I was running Middletown regular, even with the street stock, when he had his shop right across the street from Donnie Elliott's. I mean, he spent a whole day one day building a shroud for me. I brought the car over and we sat and just dude, even now too, he's done stuff for me in the past, building fuel cell mount, just stupid things for the car that just for him would be like no brainer. But dude, he's what a stand-up guy. Any division whatsoever, that guy's willing to help.
Yeah, he went from being my chassis builder to the guy who helped me maintain my car, and now I got to say Jerry Higbee is my best friend. He's just that guy. I have business things I want to discuss with him. I call him. He's a level-headed dude, and he levels me out, and that's how I am with a race car. Like when he says, "Hey," the other week I think I started 8th in heat racing. We're watching hot laps, and I said, "Man, that stuff looks choppy up top." He says, "Grant, send it." I got the heat race, started 8th. I had the lead coming off at turn 4. I just drove. If he says it, I'm confident. And, he don't steer me wrong, and just a level-headed dude, and we hit it off. Everybody in that shop, and I want to win, but at the end of the day, they want to win as much as I do. So it's how do you lose when you have a combination like that?
Yeah, if you watch a sportsman feature, you know, a couple of weeks ago, Gary and I were both down there and we were watching it. If you watch the guys that are moving up towards the front, you guys are always racing where everybody else isn't. And that's something that I always said in Middletown. You know, everybody's following the leader down here. I would rather lose 5 positions to try and take second than run third and not have tried anything. And if you can find that sweet spot, you know, and if you can find that sweet spot, and it's funny because if Corey Cormier moves up out of the line, and you watch down the low, here comes Joey Bruni, here comes Hilfiger, you know, here comes Von Dorn, you know, and the rest, and everybody just kind of gets that, you know, and I don't know, man, it makes for exciting racing.
Yeah, watch Tanner Van Dorn. I mean, the last 358 race he ran, everybody's kind of hugging the bottom, this and that. Him and Boniface are rolling the fence, you know. It's you just got to go where they're not. Running over guys don't work, so you got to kind of go where they're not, you know. It's good, and Middletown is really nice how they put the time and energy into the track, and they got it so we can do that.
Do you like the new configuration of the Speedway? Because it's definitely different. It's not what it was early 2000. It's definitely different.
I definitely like it. It's slower, which I've always savvied myself as a stop and go, slow down, speed up racer, because I think it takes a lot more than just hammering it in there and steering and pointing. So from the driver's standpoint, I really like it. From not buying 3 tires at night, I really, really like it. And, you know, it just allows you to move around, and that's what we really need as drivers. And I feel that the big plunge that they took with that new surface is really what was needed. It got dry, it got dusty. I'm not going to lie, they had issues, but they don't have them anymore. Whatever they're doing is working.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think laundry soap, right? Isn't that what what's his name there? Johnson Hearn was dumping laundry. I don't know. That guy.
I see that. I thought that was just a joke, though. But who knows?
I got to meet him a couple weeks ago. A great guy, but man, is he shot. I think that's why I like him so much.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
He's got some issues. I think it's awesome.
But too, with running the top like that, some people just don't have the you know, the kahunas to get up there either. You know, I mean, not saying anything bad, but you know, you get some youngsters out, they're not going to do that. You know, they're not. Yeah. I mean, because especially somebody that's been racing way back, you know, a few years ago, if you would have took it to the top, you were putting a front clip or a rear clip on it because you were stuffing it in the fence, no doubt, you know. And now you can do that.
I think it's the opposite. I think these youngsters are up there and they're going.
Now. Yeah.
You look at Cody Higby, you look
at
Josh Allen, kid, Aiden Elliott, Tanner. I mean, those guys are right against the fence. It took me 20 years to be able to do that.
No fear. There's no fear.
No fear, exactly.
Not going to get hurt. There's no fear.
Up, they eat their lucky
Listen, we have to go to work Monday morning. They don't.
Yeah, and as you get older, the bones take a lot longer to heal. Trust me.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's. I mean, with everything, you know, there's always controversy in almost anything. Let's talk about a couple. I want to say maybe a season or so ago. What happened with the valve springs on the crate motor? Was that an oversight or?
Absolutely not. It was 100% my fault. So that was right before they changed the track surface, and the track was really, really fast. So we have a gear rule, and I put the gear rule in, and we were turning the motor pretty hard, and the track got rough, and we were just wearing out valve springs. So I have a good buddy that used to build my modified motors. He said, hey, I got a ton of these pack valve springs, a bunch of motors down, you know, Bridgeport down there. They last. He's like, they could check them all day long. They break at 80 pounds. They're no performance gain, but they last forever. So longevity, you're going to have no problem. So I said, you know what? Ship me up a set.
Yeah.
So I bring him into Hig Fab. I give him to Mr. Higby. He kind of gives me a look, and I said, I don't know. I don't think they'll catch him. And he gives me another look. And, you know, so we put him in, I think it was like the week before the Centennial race. So we go out. I don't even know where we finished. Top 5 probably. And so then we go out for the Centennial race, and me and Cormier had a wicked battle for the lead. He got me in lap traffic. I got him back. We go down into tech. I'm smiling. I'm thinking, oh, man, we're good here. And actually, how can I not forget his name? 24 kid. He's killing it down at Bridgeport this year. Another young gun. He ended up finishing second, so we're having a good time in victory lane. And George Johnson kind of gives me that little come here. So he's like, your valve springs are good on pressure. He's like, I got this little gauge here and it's not going over. He's like, what's going on? I said, they're pack valve springs. They're not GM valve springs. He said, sorry, not sorry. You're out of here. So I learned a pretty good lesson there, and come back the next week. I think I was 0.3 faster than I ran in the Centennial race with GM valve springs, and now we got stock in GM valve springs. I buy them by the case. I'm not going.
Well, listen, man. And there was no, Grant's in the pit area acting like an idiot. But there was none of that. I mean, you kind of took it on the chin and went, "Yep, listen, I did it, and I got caught." And you got to kind of respect that, because the cars are so close together anymore. You guys got to find any little bit of edge that you can. You know what I mean? So, and I don't think anybody was looking at it. I think now they're looking at you. They're looking at anybody who's winning on a regular basis. They want to tell you, they want to tear you guys apart. And this is what I always said when we started to become successful. It was, listen, man, you got the money, you're going to see what I got. And it's almost frustrating at times, because you know how hard you work and you know what goes into making it so successful. And when you become successful, nobody wants to see that.
Yeah. Right.
How do you
a little while, but it wears off.
Yeah. But how do you deal with that?
So going back to the tech thing, the only thing that's going to keep this crate class alive is tech. So I always respect it and I appreciate it. So I'm never, ever going to give a track a hard time for wanting to dig in. I'll sit there till 2 o'clock in the morning. As a matter of fact, take the engine. I don't care. But how I deal with it is, you look back and you do have all these young kids, and you have some mediocre guys, and you have some guys going around. But at the end of the day, just like you said, I was running a big block in 2004. Some of these kids weren't even born then.
Yeah, it's true.
Who should be winning? Brian Crummell, when he shows up with Sportsman, should win. Grant Hilfiger, when he shows up with a Sportsman, should win his share of races. So with a maintenance program and a quality car, it's not always cheating. You know what I mean? Like, we're the guys that should win. When I was coming up through, I always joked around. I said, these older guys are spanking our ass, but it's experience. You cannot make up for experience and laps.
Yeah, it's true.
So that's why I respect these younger guys even more, because they don't have them, but that's how they got the raw ability. Like, watching Tanner drive his race car, knowing what he has and knowing he's a family operation, and the 358 budget that they have, it's like, I've heard of raw natural talent, but you see it with that kid, and I don't have it. It's taken me 20 years.
He's reincarnated. He's a reincarnation of somebody. He really is. What an old soul that kid is. He just the decision making. Me at that age, I was wondering where I was going to wipe the booger. You know what I mean? Am I putting this over here, or I just the kid is.
I've been around the kid for 2 years now, and he gets out of the race car. And not only does he know exactly what his race car is doing, he know what he did to do it, and he knows what changes he needs to make on his race car. Like, I'm still learning this. I was texting Jerry Higby from Delaware Tuesday night. Hey, am I second guessing myself on this shock? Is this one going to tighten me up, loosen me up? Like, I don't know. I got a bucket of shocks here. I don't know what to put on the car. Like, help me out. But these young guys, they soak it up, and they're just, on top of the natural driving ability, they're smart. They understand these race cars.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, Kev, shut up, man. Kevin Berryman pipes in. He goes, "Yeah, you still do, Joel. I still wonder where I'm wiping the booger." I gotta listen, I'm like you, Grant. I've got a crazy schedule, and a buddy of mine, Tony Gearhead, he the guy's constantly working on my car. It's constantly at his house. I have 2 garages here, and the car is never in the garage here. And it's almost the same thing, man. You just, you rely on these guys. And it was the same deal. A few years ago, we were the only ones in our division with a crate motor, and we were doing well with it. And I didn't have an issue. George asked me to, hey, listen, bring this thing to me. He wanted to take it apart. So I took the day off of work. We brought it to his shop that Monday, and it was a 13-year-old worn out crate motor, and we just made it work. You know what I mean? I'm all for, in order for people to understand what goes into it and how the car, if you can get the car to work, everything else is going to fall into place. You know what I mean? You don't need a ton of smoke to be fast in Middletown.
You know what? I almost won that Dale race out at Woodhull. Now, Woodhull's a little paper clip. It's, dry, slick. It's got banking. So I had a 355 ported spec. I probably made 640, 50 horsepower, whatever. So I'm racing against 13-degree motors, big bucks, this, that, the other. There's probably a 200 horsepower swing at a Dale race. But at the end of the night, it's big block, open small block, spec motor, and you all weigh the same weight. It's like, so these crate guys are so wound up over finding 5 horsepower, when in reality, if they just drive the track, keep their car free, do their homework and call their chassis builder and call their shock guys and, work on their tires. It's amazing how many of these guys roll in with their tires the same as they were the week before. I take my chassis to Jerry and drop it off, and we load up the tires and we bring them home. We wash them, we grind them, we sipe them. We're on top of them, but they're worried about 5 horsepower, 7 horsepower. I don't even know what a big cheated up crate motor could be. What could they gain? 20 horsepower? The motors are boat anchors. Like, forget about trying to find an extra 10 horsepower. You could find more in your chassis and your driving ability than you can.
True.
Accusing everybody. Like that crazy guy on that social media page says, watch your own bobber. You got to watch your own bobber sometimes. At the end of the night, if you're running 12th, sometimes it's not everybody else's fault. And it might be your own. Look inside your own trailer.
Yeah, it's true.
So, all right, so let's talk about 2021. What do you got going on? Where are you racing? I mean, obviously, so far, Middletown seems to be your Saturday night pit stop, but what do you got going on this season?
There's a couple tracks I want to hit. That new Bloomsburg track, I'd really like to get out there. Me and Jerry literally just an hour ago decided we're going to go to Accord for the Dale race. So we want to do Accord. I'd like to hit Oswego. I'd like to find Fonda Speedway. I haven't been there since I was probably 12 years old. We were up there on a vacation. I'd like to go there. If the Dirt Series does the showdown in Charlotte, I want to go there, and then we'll probably shut it down. And we might do the Gobbler. We like the Gobbler. It's pretty cool racing after Thanksgiving. And then Dale also announced that we're going back to Alltech Speedway, and we had some speed and some success down there. So, probably not too much. I am taking this Saturday off in Middletown. I'm gonna go hike around the Grand Canyon, go camping, have dinner with my mom and my sister, and go see my grandma and do stuff like that. I love racing, but I also love my family, and I need to do more of that stuff. And when you're at a racetrack every weekend, it makes it hard. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm going to Woodhull Raceway Saturday night to watch, but it just, you got to do that. Else, next thing you know, you're going to look back, and I don't want any regrets in this life. I've done some cool stuff, and I'm just gonna take a couple weekends off and go do some of that stuff.
Yeah.
Cool. Well said.
So, are you? I meant to ask this earlier. Are you? How did you get involved in racing? Was was your dad a racer, or was somebody in your family raced, or you went and watched and you were like, I want to try this?
It's kind of as a little kid, we were always near a racetrack, but I probably only went to a racetrack 3 times before we actually started racing. Went to Mocatech once, went to Woodhull, and I think we went up to Fonda. We were close there, and we said, let's go. So good family friend of ours had a wrecker, and my dad was restoring an old truck, and we're driving out through there. I think I was 14 at the time, and he started talking about racing. And I said, man, Dad, I'd love to race. Like, what do we got to do with this? And next thing you know, that wrecker's in my driveway dropping off a pure stock the next day. That guy's name was John Flood. And if you notice my race suit, my race car, anything I have, if I drive it, his name's on it. He passed away in 2003. But a lot of my life, business skills, racing skills, go all the way back to that guy. And, he got us involved in it. He dropped that pure stock off. He said, I've been racing a long time. You guys can have this car, but I don't want nothing to do with it. Well, he lied because he was at my house every day for the next 8 years.
Nice.
I still get chills talking about him, and that's what got me started in racing. And I'm going to tell you, racing's for anybody with young kids or whatever, no matter what you're involved, whether you're scraping mud, you're sitting in the grandstand, racing is the greatest sport around.
100%,
Yeah,
100%,
absolutely.
without a doubt. Listen, 9 days old, I went to my first race, and I've been going ever since.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I won a sportsman race 4 days after my daughter was born. I had to beg to go, but thank God I won it. And she's been by my side, and we got her little slingshot car, and we're looking forward to start.
Nice, awesome.
That's cool.
My first daughter was born. I believe I was announcing the Gobbler that weekend, and then the following weekend I won a. Or it was, I don't know, for the first 2 weeks of her life, I wasn't home. I was off racing or doing announcing or something like that. And yeah, dude, it's crazy. She's 10 now, and now I can't go to the races without her coming with me. So it's
That's
awesome.
cool.
Yeah, my daughter's 12. Yeah, my daughter's 12, and I won't go on the roof of a race car without her. And she really gets into it, and she's really got aggressive, and she's got into it. She's ready to jump in and kind of do her own thing. So we'll see where that leads. The slingshots are a pretty cool car, but if she can handle that, I think we're going to do some rookie sportsman racing and stuff like that.
Nice.
It's just too hard to have too many different type cars in the family, and it's kind of what we do. And with HigFab family having our back, it's kind of the route we're going to go if she wants to. She might race that slingshot, get out of it, and say, "Dad, whatever, I want to go do this." So, that's where we're headed, and that's probably going to dictate what I do with my racing, in the next few years. But that's
everybody that we've ever had on the show, we always ask them the one question, and it seems to be pretty popular, so we're just going to stick with it. I guess it's kind of like our little nick here or whatever. Any race you could possibly win in your racing career other than the Daytona 500, what would be that one race you'd really want to win?
I want to win Eastern States. I went in my first time ever going to Eastern States. I finished second to Kevin Root. Came back the next year and didn't qualify. So it's a very, very humbling race. The not qualifying part of the Eastern States ended up probably being my favorite Eastern States memory. I had my daughter there. She did the Little Miss Motorsports thing, and Tanner was in Pat Giuliano's car, which I referred him to that car. Pat wanted me to drive it. I said, I really want to drive my family-owned car, but I'm telling you right now, this is the guy you need in the car. And he said, wait, that kid? Yeah, that kid. So, things happened from there. Jerry, Tanner's dad, and Pat took it over from there. I'd like to think I was a little part of it, but I stood in turn 4, and I'm telling you, I paced and I wore circles, and I cheered that kid on. And he even tells me, he's like, every time I looked over coming off of turn 4, your hands were in the air, you were jumping. So Eastern States is special for me. It's humbling. I got a second. Did not qualify, and I was there for Tanner Van Dorn's win, and I was able to be a small part of that. My daughter got to be in victory lane with all the winners, and I was there smiling, and I got to enjoy that with her. If I was out there racing, one of our family members or crew would have had to been there with her, and I would have missed all that. So not qualifying for me was actually a blessing, and I hope I win it this year.
True.
Yeah.
Nice.
Listen, I think you're definitely going to be one of the guys to beat. Grant, listen, man, it's been awesome. Thank you so much for joining us, and I really appreciate you kind of remembering me.
I do.
So, listen, man, much success. I mean, you guys are on a roll, and it's amazing to watch you guys out there week in and week out. And listen, we'd love to have you back on maybe later in the year, see how things are going. And again, man, thanks for joining us.
Yeah,
sounds good. I got a lot of cool people that help me out. I got
plug away.
Oh yeah. Please,
plug away.
Pat Giuliano with D&M. He helps me out. Like Walton up at Fastline, Shocks, Quinn Painting, Full Throttle. And then all my family-owned businesses. I really don't know why my family's invested in my crazy hobby for this long. Between the hard work and the hours that they missed me and the money we've put in. So I got to thank my dad. I got to. Practically like family member Butch Rake. He's at every single one of these things. Frank Del Nero, he's a street stock racer. He races out of Evergreen. He's really jumped on board with us, and he's all hands on. He's our tech guy. He's ripping that thing apart. Travis Ziegler, I've known him since he was 10 years old, helping us out. My nephew Jaden, Jason Cease. I just got a lot of great people around me, and I got to thank all you guys and the people at the racetrack. And I think the photographers look at me like I have two heads because I thank them in victory lane. At the end of the day, the way social media is now and all the plugs and the shares, and I feel like a superstar, and here I am just running a crate sportsman at Middletown. So I just got to thank you guys because it really does help out on the sponsorship end and stuff like that, and it really makes us feel special. And coming on shows like this, it's pretty cool. I feel like a superstar.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Man. It's yeah, dude. I love it. I really do. You know, we're a couple of fans of racing, and this was Gary's brainstorm, and I was like, yeah, all right, I'll do it. You know, and, dude, I love talking with you guys. I mean, listen, I learn something new all the time. I've been around racing my entire life, and dude, again, it's a pleasure watching you race every Saturday. And again, man,
yeah,
man, good luck to you, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Take care,
cool, man. Hopefully, my daughter lets me do it for a couple more years.
I say the same thing, bro. Don't rush it.
Yep.
Yeah, man. All right, take care, guys.
All right, Grant.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.
So Grant Hilfiger, dude. So years ago, when I first started in Middletown, man, dude, he was a humble guy back then too. And so Braxton piped in. Braxton Dembeck pipes in. He says he wants to win the Geico 500.
Still.
That's got to be his father, right? It's got to be his dad.
Lord. Yeah.
So.
And he wants to drive for Kyle Busch, so all right. Anyway. On to the next.
So real good. Thank God it's Nate Day. Of course, Nate up here at TGIR Merch, and of course our good buddy Andy Crane. Thank you for helping us out here. ABC Design. Yep. There you can see it. It's right there. And do we got him? Is he ready?
Danny's on.
So for round
and if it doesn't work, it's 100% his fault because the old lady was on and it worked fine. So
listen, I got earphones, we got a mic.
Yeah, and let's just hope that he wasn't listening last week. All the shit we talked about him.
It was all Richard Smith.
yeah. Him and Richie ain't friends no more. That's just an update.
So let's bring him on. The DC Express. I like to call him the bad boy himself, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Danny Creeden.
What's happening, guys?
What's up?
I rushed home just for you guys. I stopped doing tires just so I can get here and got a laptop now, so that's better.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
Man.
Yeah, dude. Thank you so much for joining us again. And dude, Gary and I got tore up all week.
Yeah?
You know? Yeah, oh yeah.
I guess I should have watched the show then. I guess Richard tore me up pretty good, huh?
Oh yeah. Listen, it was all Richard.
Yeah, he's really not your friend, is he?
He's my little buddy. It's all right. I'm here to look for parts for him so he can race next week, you know? So,
yeah, you might want to stop that.
So, Danny, man, thanks again for joining us again, and let's just start over. Take two. So, your dad was a racer. You were a racer. What was the deciding factor that that this is what I want to do? I want to be a racer.
I always wanted to race. You know, we followed races everywhere. I grew up under the pine trees there in Turn 2, and I don't really remember my father racing too much because I was probably 2 or 3 when he quit. So Timmy Hindley, Don Roselli, Donnie Elliott, all of them guys, they were the deciding factor. Timmy, I still blame Timmy to this day. Timmy's the one that put me in the first go-kart, and then he cost my parents a lot of money. He cost us a lot of money, but I'm grateful for it, though.
Yep.
Yeah. So so you started off in the go-karts, and then you guys went right to sportsman, right? And you only stayed in sportsman just for a couple of seasons.
I ran, so we started. My father was pretty strict. School was tough for me. I wasn't interested. I mean, I can remember, you saw on Facebook the other day, I can rattle names and numbers and stuff off.
Yeah.
Just wasn't focused. You know, I knew I wanted to race all my life. So school was tough. So my dad said to me, he goes, that's all well and good, buddy. He goes, but you ain't getting a race car. You graduated. So I graduated summer school 02 on a Wednesday. Donnie Elliott dropped the race car off on a Saturday or Sunday. I worked at Precision at that time. There was a motor sitting there. Motor was in the car. We were at Accord the following night. It was actually an old Freightliner motor. I think that the Shaver brothers had for, I want to say Jerry drove it at that time, and ran small block, I think, 4 or 5 times, and said to Dad, I said, I don't think I'm really cut out for a small block deal. So Bob and John converted that over to a sportsman for us, and that was beginning of 2003. So 03 was my first full year, and then I raced to 2007 with our family car and sportsman. In 2007, I drove for Roger Humiston in the big block at Middletown. So I finished out the sportsman deal. That deal kind of came a little late in the year, and with Jimmy Secor passing away late 06. And then Roger gave us a call to run big block, and then my dad passed away in March. So we just chose to stay small block or sportsman racing. And then a gentleman I was working for, Bob Fairweather from Complete Forklift Service, had a 358. And then we went 358 racing basically end of 07, and here we are today.
Yeah. And so far here, 2001, man, you can almost do no wrong. I mean, every week you're top 5. You're on the podium.
We struggled at the beginning of the year. You know, we started off in Florida. Bubba's had real high hopes there in Bubba's, and I struggled. I struggled with this coil stuff. I'm stubborn, as most of us know, that I was just late to the coil scene. And I was going to be the last lone soldier on bars, but Billy Pouch Jr. still my man on bars. I think Luigi still has him. So when I say we, I mean me as a team, we were just behind. We were a year and a half behind, and we struggled, man. We just struggled on the coil deal, and we got rolling pretty good at Bubba's. And last night we broke a yoke, and come to find out, we broke a yoke in a dry shaft because of something we found out with the coils. So then George Shackleton gave me opportunity, bought a big block for us, and we had a car, and we put it in to go to Volusia. And that's something that's like one of them bucket list races you always wanted to do. And we had a great run the first night, 10th, and you know, we were always hard charger, just never could lay a good lap in time trials. And part of it's me, because I know that, you know, we junk a car, man, it's going to be tough to build another one. So if I could unload a second one down there, I would have put it up on the fence and let it rip. But, you know, I'm grateful for that opportunity. And then Georgetown, we were good in the heat. And feature time, I just missed the setup, my fault. And then Saturday got slicker, and then I was real bad. So Sealands Grove, we were all right. And then we went to Port Royal the next day, and there again, man, just that coil and slick stuff. I missed the boat. So made a couple phone calls, and you know, I was questioning myself, to be honest with you. I called my buddy Mike Wallace, and Mike, do I suck? He goes, hell no, you don't suck. He goes, you just got to, you know, do it your way. I'm like, well, you know, the Bicknell Bible says you can't do it that way. He goes, well, who cares? He goes, where's the Creeden Bible? So I threw that out. He goes, well, you better go find it. And that's what we did. Just went back to kind of our own old school way, and then we're rolling pretty good. So I can't wait to get short track racing now.
So I'm going to ask the questions that we were asking before, because I had a hard time listening to it. When do you find time to sleep?
Don't.
I mean, because you don't consider yourself to be a full-time modified driver. Like, you're not doing this for a living, but you guys will run 50 to 60 races a year, and that's full-time modified racing for a living. Plus, you also have a full-time job as well. And right. Are you doing a majority of the work on the cars yourself? I mean, I know when you guys show up to the track, if you're anything like me, I show up to the track and everybody shows up. But when I'm at home, I got maybe one or two guys that are around.
I'm fortunate. I got a great bunch of people behind me. I mean, Dennis Dietrich's always in the shop. Jimmy Sheehan's in the shop. Butters, he's always at the shop. Yep. I mean, there's Jesse. I have a girl on my crew that's been with me since, it had to be 2000. I'm gonna say 2004, 5-ish, and I bet you since 2009 she hasn't been to the racetrack since. But she's there every week maintaining, she's the glue. We can't do that without her. She does everything. I was at City softball practice last night, and Jesse was at the shop putting dry shafts in. So I mean, there's just a pile, and I'm gonna forget a bunch of people's names, but you know, Joe Romer rolls over and does the valves. You know, Joe's my late night guy. I'm getting ready to go home about 10, 11 o'clock, and Joe rolls in. He does all the valves and the motor maintenance and stuff like that. So, you know, only one that's not at the shop is Ryan Tittle, because he can't get there from here because he lives in Saylorsburg. But he's at the shop, you know, Saturday, and you know, he's my thrasher. When something breaks, he dives in full bore, man. Back to the sleep thing. I don't get much sleep. I got home like 11 o'clock last night, and the alarm went off at 4. So thanks to you guys, I might get some sleep tonight.
Let's see that.
Yeah, man. So and what is it that you're doing for a living now? I know you were with Chad Ludice of 5L Construction. I think you were their mechanic there. I know you were Precision there for a little while. What are you doing these days?
I work for Halmar now. I'm a mechanic for Halmar.
Okay.
So but I had probably the most coolest jobs ever. I mean, I was always some sort of race related. They let me race. They let me do what I had to do. I mean, Precision Engine. I mean, Bob, you know, we're going racing. All right, see you later. And John was great, and John's still great. I drove his car last year. John and I are still pretty tight. And then I worked for Donnie. I worked for Chris Diamond Racing Engines for a little bit, and then I worked for my car owner, Bob Fairweather, for a little while. I think 3 or 4 years, and then I went to Donnie. And Donnie's big brother, man, he just He's great. I talked to him 3 or 4 times a week. My truck's down there getting fixed. I'm a mechanic, and he's fixing it. So you figure it out. Because there just ain't no time, And then working with Chad and Dom, that was great too. I mean, we had a blast. And I went to a bus garage for about, I think, 4 or 5 months, if that, and just for the union and the benefits, just trying to take care of my family. Because granted, I messed around long enough racing and trying to not be a full-time racer, but be a full-time racer. And then I just, it's 87 now. I mean, I got to worry about the girls. So I work for actually Matt Janiak's mom. Melissa got me the job. And then Matt called me and said, hey, you want to work for Halmar? And I'm loyal. I mean, some people don't know that, but I'm as loyal as they come. So I was like, I'll talk to your mom and whatnot. And then Melissa says, well, you better go take that job. So now I work with the two Mo's. I work with Matt Janiak and Tyler Boniface. So that's pretty cool too, man. That's fun over there. We get a lot of stuff done.
Where's Halmar? Now, are they located around here, Halmar? I thought they were more of like a Connecticut-based.
Actually, I was just down in a sawmill today in Westchester, but Matt, Tyler, and I are based out of Maybrook. So right off of Homestead Avenue. Yeah, it's like a half hour from the house. It's it's a piece of cake, man. So I try to catch a little 30-minute nap driving there, but it don't ever work.
Yeah. So I mean, you pretty much named the racetrack, and you've either won there or you've come close to winning there. What would you say, other than Orange County, is one of your favorite tracks to race at?
I like a lot of them. Thunder Mountain's probably still my favorite. Any place you go there and win a boatload of races, you love. I love that place. One place I haven't won at, and I don't get there very much, is Grandview. I love that place. Before I retire, I'm gonna win a race at Grandview. I don't care if it's non-qualifiers race. I'm gonna win something there. I love that place. I don't know why. We're gonna go back to Accord on Friday nights this year. It's just close to home. Makes it easy for everybody. Grateful for Pencan last year being the only game in town open, and when Afton was open in 2 shows, he ran there. Gary got the shaft last year, man. Gary did it right. He didn't open. He didn't, raise no feathers up or whatever. He just did what he had to do. I feel bad for the man because that's his living. They lost a lot. So the only right thing to do is, run 20 minutes up the road here and help him out. So so we're going to do that. And, I won at New Egypt. I won at Bridgeport. That was cool. I won down there in Sportsman. That dirty Jersey win was cool. I love Afton. Woodhall. I was watching Grant Steele there. Woodhall is a great place. Just can't get there on a Saturday night. It's
far, right? Yeah.
It's a ride. You get to Vance and you're like, all right, cool, we're almost there. You're like, no, we still got like another hour and a half to go. I mean, it's just out there.
Yeah.
So I always joke and say that guy, I think Ted was the owner at the one time. So you can move that thing about an hour and a half this way. So I'll be here every week. Just it's like a mini Lebanon Valley. It's long straightaways, big banking, tight corners. It's a real fun place. We won out there too, so it was definitely cool. Cool out there.
You had a ton of success up at Thunder Mountain. What was the deciding factor that you guys? I mean, I believe you had a couple of track championships up there, right? So what was the deciding factor not to go back? Rumor has it they were asked. You were asked not to come back. That's the rumor.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm me. When I got something on my mind, I speak my mind. Oil and water don't always mix. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of rolled out of there thinking I was it, and at that time we were it. And then he started catching up to us, and just kind of a little turmoil, and not with the Spoonhowers, just with some other racers, and it just kind of snowballed, and it sucks. I love that place. Like every time we get to go back up there, we can. So I just I don't know. It probably in the long run is probably better. But
listen, I get it. I get it. Listen, you're only gonna eat shit just for so long, and then you're gonna start, and then you're gonna say something. Yeah, right. I get it. Listen.
And I've been on both sides of it. So you see somebody winning a boatload of races, man, you get mad. When I first went to Accord, the Ricky boys were winning everything, and Robbie Green. And when we followed Don Roselli out to Makatech, and I think it was me, my mom, my dad, and the grandson was like, who's this guy from Middletown? And you saw it. Dom started winning, and everybody's looking at you guys like, well, who the hell is this guy? And I get it, man. But you know what? I made a lot of friends up there at Thunder Mountain. And a lot of people I probably would have never met in my life, and I'm grateful for that. Mark DeMoyer, I talk to Mark DeMoyer 3-4 times a week. His daughter races, but it's cool to make the friendship of it. I still see the Spoonhowers, and I shake their hands and say hello to them, and they're great people, and hopefully one day I go back to the race there.
Yeah. Listen, I think I might be one of the very few people that totally understands where you're coming from sometimes, because we have almost the same personality. You know what I mean? It's listen, I'm here to win just like everybody else, but you continue to run my shit over, or I have a disagreement with management. They sometimes don't like what I hear, what I have to say. Am I wrong? 90% of the time, I say no. But I get it. It's the passion, it's the drive, it's your blood, sweat, and tears, and it's your money out of your pocket. Quite a bit of the time that goes into these things, right. And when it continues to happen, that's an issue,
right?
And it's usually the same. It's usually the same people.
Right. It's the same people. And then you just, like you said before, when you're working 40 hours on a race car and working 40 hours during the week and racing here and running there and getting home late and this, that, and the other thing, you get frustrated. I get frustrated.
Yeah.
I get really honestly frustrated, and it just, I caught myself the other night looking at the rule book at Middletown because I wasn't 100% sure on a weight that somebody rolled across the scales. And I was wrong, but I didn't go to, 2 years ago, I'd been down there screaming, yelling, arms flailing, the whole nine. But I went to grab my phone, read the rule book, like, all right, well, they're right. So chalk down up to them. So
when Sadie was born, and how old is she now? 7, right?
Sadie will be 8 Eastern States weekend.
Okay, so I was already 2 years in. and I even said, as you guys are going to see a different Danny Creeden. Nope, Danny's always going to. I said, I'm telling you, now I've got 6 kids total. 3 came with the lease, made 3 more. But that one, you know what I mean? I think it's before you go to say or go to do something, you always know in the back of your head, shit, my daughter might be watching. You know what I mean? Well, and that's what's done that to me. You know what I mean? Absolutely. I went from being the guy who dropped the steering wheel to. You know what? I'm going to drink a bottle of water and then I might go talk later.
Well, I'm not overly that way. I still voice my opinion. Just it may take a little bit longer for her to do it. Now she's in the pits with us all the time. I used to be able to get away with it because she was in the drive-ins like in Middletown with Mom. We're up in the booth at Accor with Mom or my sister, and so now she's with me. So now she really sees it, because I get out of the car. She's like, "Are you mad, Dad?" I'm like, "Not yet. Should I be?"
This comment here, so this says it best, right? That's what we were talking about off air,
Say what you want about Danny and why he's not a Thunder Mountain, but he was there giving out a hand to whoever needed it, and is one of the nicest guys in the pits. He will give you the shirt off his back, and plain and simple. Thank you, Tyler Topman. Thank you, brother.
And that's true. That's what we were talking about off air last week. I remember when I first started racing, I've seen him go crazy in the pits, and there was times like, man, I don't even want to approach this guy. But when I wrecked at 5 Mile, him and his guys were giving me parts and doing stuff at the hotel that we stayed at the same hotel. Like, that's just the memories I have, Danny's a really true, down-to-earth, good guy, man, really, regardless of what people think.
Well, we all put a boatload of time and passion into the sport. And just like Grant said a little while ago, there's guys I watched growing up still race. So I still try to put Butch Tinn on the car once in a while, and his knees are pretty bad, so he can't really do it much more. But listen, at the end of the day, I could be screaming and yelling at you. At the end of the day, if you're broke down the side of the highway, I'm stopping, I'm fixing it. Jim Britt ran out of fuel, come home from Florida, and a construction zone, 1 lane. We hooked a chain to him and drug him out of there. That's just
exactly.
That's the way I was raised.
Yep.
Do I hate my actions? 99% of the time, but it's just me. That's just.
Yep.
10 minutes later, I'm fine. We'll drink a beer.
100%. Yeah. Listen, my wife there, she works in the back gate in Middletown, and when I told her I was going to race at Bethel, she was kind of relieved. And I understand why, because again, sometimes that heart's right here, and when it comes out. The next day, I'm like, oh, man, why'd I do that? You know what I mean? I get it. I do, 100%. And that's why I said, years ago, listen, just give me a shirt. I gave you a transponder. Just give me a shirt because I'm a fan, because I get it.
I still owe you one, too. I don't think we ever committed on that dial.
No, you did. No, I got one. Yeah, I got a shirt.
Telling me we did, so we get a no. I'll get you guys some.
Yeah. So let's talk 2021, man. Where are you headed? What are you doing? What are you looking for? What's the goals? What's going on?
Win. Win as much as we can.
Right there, every week. The night we were down there, Yeah, what we were talking about, the rear was broke, and you still wound up with a top 5.
Yeah, the rear had a crack into it, and Ryan's like, the rear's busted. I'm like, we'll put some silicone on it.
But to me, that's what I love. I love the fact that you guys don't roll out another car. You run with what you got. Let's JB weld the shit and let's go. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And that's how we don't come from a lot of money by no means. I got a lot of great supporters behind me, and a lot of people that I always say that my team's a puzzle. Everybody brings a piece to the puzzle. I got Roger Humiston owns the motors, and I own a car, and Sedita helps out. Rob Sedita helps out big time, and George Shackleton, and this one and that one, and the sponsors and whatnot. Everybody brings a piece to the puzzle, and they all drop it in my lap, and I put what I need to do and where I need to go. So, I'm fortunate enough that I have such a great amount of people to do that, and that's how we can race. I think last year, we even with all the COVID crap, I still ran 38 races. I was out walking. Was I out walking moose? I think I was out walking moose, and that North Carolina race came on, and Melissa, I was still at the bus garage. She goes, "You're taking off, right?" And Donnie's like, "I'll pay fuel," and I'm like, "Well, I didn't even say I'm going yet." So as I'm out walking the dog around, my phone's going off because Deo announced this. So I guess we're going to North Carolina, So we all packed up and ran to Penn-Can, did some testing, and loaded up with North Carolina. So it's, like I said, I got such a great bunch of people and supporters and sponsors and product sponsors and whatnot. I'm very fortunate. But as for where we're going, like I said, we're going to run small block in Middletown. By luck, because Ant went to Fonda, I'm leading the points. Ant's going to be tough. Tyler's going to be, if the racetrack stays the way it is, Tyler's going to be tough. That kid has patience, and he can just search and search. Yeah. And here I am, I'm rolling. I'm like, I'm third. I'm like, all right, I didn't have a good restart. I got behind Benetti there, and I'll take another third, and then Rob's down in the corner telling me I got a big gap. Next thing you know, his hands are closed. I'm like, well, who the hell's coming? Yeah. And I look at the scoreboard, almost missed turn 3. I'm like, that damn kid's coming, man. That kid's going to be good. I tell Small every day, like, that kid's good now. You get some more laps, and that kid's going to be really good.
Yeah. So, talk about Tanner.
Yeah, Tanner. Yeah. That kid's good, man. He's good. Very good. So, and we're going to run Accord on Fridays, and we're going to start the Dale North deal. I love Brett Dale. I'll support him to the days long, but I hate Utica Rome. That place can disappear, and if I ever turn another lap there, I won't have to. We're going to go to first 4 and see where we are, and then we're going to go to the 5th race and see where we are, and we're going to kind of just keep motoring on. So probably I'm going to do them all because that's just me. But I gotta have a skate route once in a while.
Yeah. Do you consider yourself a points racer, or you just listen, man? If wherever the points are, a couple weeks to go, then we'll take a look. Or do you chase points?
It's always in the back of your mind. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But you win races, you win the points. Yeah. You don't have any breakdowns. Like we did more maintenance this week because we got a week off with the 358. We did a pile of maintenance. Just stuff that we may push off a little bit, don't do it every 4 weeks, but do it every 8 weeks. So we just did it 4 weeks, so because you had a little lull. That's the good part about having a weekend off. Like I'm going to race tomorrow if we get to race anywheres, and we got a softball game Saturday, and Sadie's going to go do some testing and do some laps in a parking lot with a go-kart. So I got a weekend off, which is nice because that's what Donnie Elliott told me. He goes, you need some weekends off, buddy. You're getting burned out. But I sat down. Donnie also told me that. So, you sit down, you write a schedule, all the races to go, and don't venture off your schedule. And without any out of control races, like, I don't have Oswego on the thing or you're on our schedule, nothing. We're scheduled like 80 races this year.
Damn.
And it's, for what we do during the week, it's a lot. Like last night was softball and karate Mondays and Wednesdays and softball practice last night. You had supposed to have a game tonight, so you guys lucked out because we were going to have to redo something there. But softball got canceled, so it's crazy, man. It's just time just flies. It's already Friday.
Yeah, 100%. So
what is it about Utica Rome? Going back to that, what is it about that play?
Just never had any luck there. It may be different because we got the slippery stuff figured. Years ago, Utica Rome was the only slippery place it was.
Right.
So I may like it now, but chances are I don't like the ride.
That's far.
I joke
like 3 hours. Yeah, it's like 3-4 hours up there.
3.5 hours, man.
Easily.
I want to say when I was driving for Fresenius Medical Care 8,000 years ago, and I want to say I drove past it once. Right, it has a red and white fence.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, so, that was like a 4-hour ride in just a truck. Yeah, dude, that would drive
it's out there.
my biggest thing, I kind of joke. I try to crack jokes and make everybody smile or whatever. But the truth is, I'm tired of riding in trucks, man. I'm just tired of it. You drive to the track, you ride home. Uncle Rob used to drive the truck and trailer for us, but still, I'm just tired of riding in trucks.
Yeah.
And now we're starting go-kart racing with Sadie, and there ain't no place close. So it's Sniperville on Friday or Lebanon Valley on Sunday. There's another hour and a half ride. But it is what it is. It's just my parents did it, and I'm doing it now.
Well, you say you're working at Hallmark. I mean, sure, you could hook you up with a chopper or something, right? I mean,
that'd be nice. That'd be great once in a while, because you sit here, we're working with Janiac today, so I got to go to Outlaw in a couple weeks, and by the time I get home from Outlaw, I'm probably going to take a shower and go to work because I don't miss work when I go racing. If I'm within the area, I missed obviously when we went to Florida, but I'll race on a Tuesday night, and I'll be back at work on a Wednesday morning, and standing in that payout line and you're waiting 4 o'clock comes early, guys. Let's get paid.
Yeah.
Penn we roll out at 11 o'clock. I got home at 11 o'clock the other night from Penn Camp. It's a Sunday night. I hate racing Sundays. I hate it.
Yeah.
Just I want to relax for once in my life.
Yep. Yep.
Don't mind a dog. He wants to play the ball.
It's all good, man. So,
that's what's rough. Even Middletown with a Thursday, getting guys to travel down on a Thursday. Them late night Thursdays are rough, man, to go to work Friday morning.
Absolutely. And then you race on a Thursday and you turn around, you're going to unload a car and swap stuff around because anybody's racing full time is racing on a Friday.
Friday, right.
I mean, what do you think of that that NASCAR point system that they're doing?
It hurt the weekly racers a little bit. But I understand it. I mean, the fans come to see Stu and Matt and, Max McLaughlin. They come to see them guys. And then when we can run with them guys, it's just going to make our program better. Unfortunately, I'm not racing probably any Thursday shows. I don't have a big block. I only have 2 cars, and there's an issue with the motor that George Shackleton owns. So that's actually getting dropped off at Enders probably tomorrow or early next week. So I don't have a big block, and I just don't have time to be swapping motors in and out. And we did the 3-car deal for many years. I drove for Chad. We had 5 cars, and then Charles had 2 cars. There's 7 cars in the garage, and try keeping track of that because 2 is enough as it is.
Yeah.
So with only having 2 cars and not having a 3rd big block, and we're just I'll be spectating.
Yeah. Awesome. So let's talk about some of the sponsors on the side of your car here for 2021. Who you got?
Right off the bat, RGH Construction, Roger Humston. He's been with me since 2007. He's the man that started the whole big block deal. We got a couple new sponsors this year. We got ECIS Street Sweeping out of Pine Bush, Lightning Auto and Truck Center, Lindsay and Mike Rizzo, and we have Dan Bedell Racing Engines. Dan, he's the man. He's just he's been doing our motor I think since 2007, and if he retires, I retire. Simple as that. Dan's my guy. We got who else? We got George Shackleton Nap. My wife's giving me sponsors over here. She's confusing the crap out of me.
Tell her get on camera.
I have my ADD ticket, and she's talking to me, and I'm talking. I get all screwed up. So, Brian and Dawn, they're from Bethel. Them guys have been on with us for years. Donnie and Rebecca, them. Donnie keeps my truck money. He keeps old Betsy running for me. Donnie's great, and whatever else he can do for us, when we switched to Bicknell, Donnie shows up a pile of parts, and when we switched back to HigFab from our Tio deal, Donnie showed up a pile of parts, and one day he's like, we're talking, we need an axle here. I'm like, I might get one. So, Mom's like, there's an axle by the garage. I'm like, yep, Donnie was there. So, I just Pat Giuliana came on. He helped us out down in Florida. I'm grateful for him. Go ahead now. Precision Hydraulics. The boss, I got to do whatever. Joe Fonte's been with us for years now. Joe's he's great. He's sponsoring the Rookie Sportsman down there in Middletown, and he was there opening night. There's no better product than what he has. CP Carrillo, our Carrillo CP pistons and Carrillo rods, band roller lifters. My boys down at Fox, we had to keep out Jones a little bit, and now that we got a good baseline, we're going to send some Fox shocks back down there and get rolling. Barron's helps out, Rob and us and East Coast Speed. They're family, basically. My dad and Big Al were drag racing together, so both of the parts houses help us out. Rob Sedita, a couple of his guys, his brother Chopper Russo he's out of Jersey, Remax deal. He's a what am I thinking of?
Yeah.
He's a real estate guy. There you go.
Yeah.
He's got a guy, Rob Landscaping, too. He comes along, he helps out, and we just got everybody's just this. I couldn't do it without everybody. It's just a big pile, and the boss man, he helps us out when he can, and then to back it up, I'm grateful for everybody who's helped me out this way. I mean, I like. Mom, she feeds us every night. That's a big bill and a half. There's times there's 10, 12 people at mom's, and just getting stuff done, getting stuff ready to go. So,
I absolutely love your mom for years and years and years, even when I was announcing up at Accord every week and stuff like that. She always walked up, "Hey, how's Dad?" You know what I mean? Your mom is just one of those people that everybody knows her and everybody loves her. And I love the fact that she has no qualms about knocking your fronts out if you want to get out of line too. And I love that. I really do.
She tries it. She tries it now.
She starts doing one of these. She's like my old man. When she starts doing one of these, yes, ma'am. Just kind of, you know what I mean? Yeah,
absolutely. So.
Yeah. So with the new track, you had a chance. You've been around a long time. You raced the way Middletown was before. With the new surface and the way they have it configured, are you liking it? I mean, everything is slowed down. You guys are now going to coils. I mean, I know you're not a fan of that, but what do you think? What are you thinking of the new track surface?
I think the track surface is great. We never had 3-4 wide racing like that. I mean, I remember being younger.
Not in the past 20 years. No.
Frank was like the only one. I think it was Art Bross's 702 there. He would scrape the fence rolling around that place. And it's like the only time I remember that, and it's always been 2-lane racing. And Timmy always made it work, but it's with the old stuff. But now that the track's wider and like I said before, when the track's dry, Tyler's gonna be tough to beat because he can search that out. And Anthony's, Ant's he's a full-time racer. He's great too. But the new surface is definitely good. I think if we put 400s on the right rear, I think the racing would be even better. I still think the mechanical grip these race cars have, we can slow the pace down even more. And speed is relative. When you get we all been to these indoor S&S Speedway, whatever, and who knows how slow they're going, but it's fun. When you slow it down, that's when the racing is good. And then to be good, I think we need to roll out there at a 23-second racetrack and back up to, I think 24. I think when we had the 400s on, when we first put the clay on 2 years ago, I want to say we were like 24 and a half, and Butch Tittle screams out all the time, you slow the place down, get better races. Fans want to see passing, not wide open racing.
Yeah.
But the surface is definitely better. Brett works his butt off, and Carm and Matt last year. It just wish Matt had more of a shot at it because he, from working with Matt, and now I know what time he put into it because I'm down there doing a little bit of repair work and whatever. But Matt put his heart and soul in that place, and he got a lot of flack for it. But he worked at it, man. No doubt about it. He worked at it. The weather so far this year is cooperated very good. A little bit of dusty last night, or Saturday night, but the dust is dust. It's dirt racing. It's gonna come with it. But I think once you get into end of May, into Junes, and the Julys, and it's gonna get you harder, even slicker, and hopefully they stay up onto it, and we'll be all right.
Well, I think you're one of those guys, like we were talking with Grant before. I think what makes guys like you and guys like Grant so successful is everybody else is following each other, and you guys are out searching around. And I think you're one of those guys that does that. And like when we were down there too, I was standing there talking to Rob Sedata, and Rob says, "Man, watch this." And you had a restart. Everybody else is down here, and then here's Danny. He's up there. And like I said it, a half hour ago. I'd rather finish 7th. And tried for 2nd by getting out of that groove and trying something different than finish 2nd and just didn't try nothing. You know what I mean? And I think that's what makes me a fan of yours as well. It's just the fact that you're willing to lose a race to try to win the race.
That's it. You can't pass when you're following them. And I kicked myself about last Saturday. We had a great car. We were real good. And the first 10 laps, man, we were coming through the field. I'm like, well, we got something here. Yeah. And then that one restart, done, and Tyler took off, and I kind of got this. I got the 3rd. I'm like, all right, and I just wasn't making no headway. And I seen Tyler up top, but I never seen somebody run the top so precise as Tyler does. He can scrape the fence. Usually, if I go up and scrape the fence, I'm in it. We're not off it. And I'm like, man. And then, like I said before, I seen, Rob told me somebody's coming. I looked up, and Tanner's on the outside. And I'm like, man, I should have done that maybe 10 laps ago. I probably still wanted to win, but I'd have been there, you know, and I kind of got too content and rode around the bottom, and you know, I'm mad at myself for it, but you know, another top 5 is great. Every time you're in tech impound, seeing George's smiling face, you're doing something right.
Absolutely, 100%. Yep. So,
Yep.
all right, so Danny, we've reached that part where, you know, we like to ask everybody the one question, and kind of seems to everybody really seems to enjoy it. Out of all the races that you could possibly win, other than the Daytona 500, and I'm going to add 2 more to the list, not this week but next week, what would be the one race that you'd really want to win?
76er, Grandview.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't. Like I said it before. I'll say it again. I don't know what it is in that place.
Isn't that the one with Brett?
I mentioned that to Brett Hearn too, because he has never won it, and I mentioned, I said, why not the 76er? And he's like, yeah, that's definitely cool.
The 76. If you ever listen, I'm a racer, and very rarely do you see me poke in somewhere just to go watch a race. I can go to Grandview, and I can sit up in the turn 3 and 4 bleachers. They're rowdy, and they're funny, and they drink a lot of beer. And I can sit there and watch a race. And wouldn't even, knowing that I have the equipment, knowing that I have that spec head engine, just like I run at Middletown, and I have everything to go there, I can go sit in the grandstands and watch that place. I don't know what it is. I really love that place. I mean,
so I got to get there. I've never been.
Grandview is a really cool racetrack.
As much as Dad was following the dirt tour and stuff like that, you know, as the tech inspector and everything years ago. Yeah, I never made it there. Never made it to Grandview. I got to go. Yeah,
not a bad house, man. You know, Joel, we know how you get. I mean, sit up there in 3 and 4, man. Them guys, they're funny, buddy. They get hooting and hollering, man. It's a blast up there. But yeah, that place, I don't know what it is, that place. You know, Dwayne Howard says that it races like Accord, just a little bit bigger. You know, and that's why Dwayne goes to Accord. It's just up on the wheel and high speed.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, I was always a fan of Middletown, and then when I started racing there, I loved it. I loved the speed. But the more, you know, when I started moving away from Middletown a few years ago, I started running Accord and Bethel and Evergreen and some of the other short tracks. And, man, I have really just fallen in love with take the speed out and let us drive.
Yeah.
And dude, I'm digging it.
You'll make yourself a better. That's why Stu and Matt, I mean, Stu's great right now because he jumps in that truck deal. I think runs 180, 190 mile an hour. Yeah. He's tearing off in the corner. He jumps in this thing. He's like getting in our car to go to Dunkin' Donuts get coffee.
And he's had an interview and said that too. He said that when he gets into modified, everything he seems so slow.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, I'll jump in a crate car once a year or once every year. I run my buddy Jordan's car there, and it's like, all right, is this thing gonna go here or what are we doing? You know, but then even our spec heads, you know, our Middletown car runs, but then we get in our open 360, and I'm like, this thing gets down the straightaway. Pen cam we did that. We poked a bunch of gear to, and I said to my buddy Dennis, who's with us all the time, I said, D, this thing gets down the straight. He goes, you should see it from where I'm sitting. So, you know, it's definitely
Listen,
the more laps you put, the better you're going to be.
Listen, you know, we've always done well in Middletown. It took us a little while, and it's a humbling experience when you go to Bethel and think you're going to stomp everybody's ass, and the leader's moving you out of the way because you're a lap car. And I was like, wow, you know, so we upped our game. But even now, this is my 21st season. I went to Penn Cam for the first time a couple months, you know, their last race, and we had no business being there. None.
Nope.
None whatsoever. None.
The beer stocks up there are totally different than beer stocks.
100. So anyway, we got the last. We qualified the last spot in the. We were the last guy to qualify, and it's just humbling. It's a humbling experience. And I'm not going to lie, I was yelling in the car, yelling at those guys to lay off because I was just out there to help push the wreck cars off the track. But, you know, and I always said, you know, listen, man, you guys are good here, but where else are you good at? Travel, go. You know what I mean? And I think that's what makes yourself and Grant and all these other guys who are doing well in Middletown, that's what makes you guys so good. It's because you guys are able to go somewhere else. And when you pull in, you know you got a shot to win.
Right. And actually, when I first started racing, Robbie Green, you know, family friends and my dad used to park next to Robbie and whatnot. And Robbie Green said it to me one time. He goes, listen, Dan, he goes, to get good, you got to get out on the road. You got to see different places. He goes, there's days you ain't going to make it. I mean, we missed 2 shows already this year, you know, and man, was I mad. I'm telling you right now, like, it almost makes you second guess if you can do it or not, you know, but back to what Robbie said, like, you know, you're going to struggle or you're going to be great. And the amount of places that I've been racing and got to see and different surfaces and this, that, and the other thing, and the sport can humble you real fast. I mean, we won that New Egypt deal at 10 grand to win race, and then we go to Accord, or I think we skipped Accord. We weren't racing there full time, but we went to 5 Mile, and we won again, and we got rolling. But when I roll out of a racetrack, man, you ride that high for a little bit, and people are calling you and congratulating. It's great. Like, people follow what you do, and then at the end of it, I still got to go to work Monday morning.
Yeah.
Or sometimes it's the next morning, you know, and then that's why I always joke with everybody. I'm like, yeah, that's great. I still got to go to work tomorrow morning. You know, I didn't win no Daytona 500 or nothing like that. So, you know, but getting out on the road definitely makes you good, and you get to see stuff, and you get to meet great people. I mean, I think our wedding had 500 people, and I bet you that probably 20 of them were family, and everybody else was just our racing family. Like, everybody was racers. That's what we are. That's my family is racing family.
See, and that's how, when I was racing Sportsman too, I wasn't good at it, but I traveled the hell out of racetracks. Like, I literally went all over just the experience of it and the people you meet, and you know what I mean? I had no business there, but I had a blast doing it. You know what I mean? I would travel 2-3 hours to do it. You know, it was just cool.
Yep.
Yeah, like I said, the people are the best part. Like, you get people, like I said, I met Mark DeMoyer, and then we're close, man. It's great. It's really just to be traveling, just to see different people, you know.
Yeah.
And then when you get back home, you know, to your middle towns or Accord, it's great to be almost back home, you know. So actually going back to Accord this year is going to be fun, because you run up and down the highway so much. You do that 5 Mile, the Pen Can deal, and the Afton deal, and I love them places. Like, if they could race 3 nights, a Friday, Saturday, Sunday deal, it'd be great. Like, I'd be up in Southern Tier racing, but it's good to get back home too. You know, I seen Gary Friday night up there at Accord, and it was good to talk to him. You know, there again, I've been thrown out of there, and I called him names, and he called me names, but it's, you know, I known Gary since I was, I don't know, 9 years old. We raced go-karts together. So, you know, and you guys said Crummel before, Brian Crummel. I remember when his father used to bring him to Poughkeepsie Speedway in the back of they call his dad Mopar or Mope. I don't even know what kind of car it was, and peeled the car out of the trunk, and he put the cart together there and went out and smoked everybody, and then stood there waiting for his dad to come back home, because he worked at Poughkeepsie Galleria. And, you know, my parents would bring him home half the time or whatever. But, like, there's even the friendships that you might have lost over the years, we all still grew up together. You know, there's a lot of kart racers, man, and that's where it all comes from.
Yeah.
All right, so I think it's about that time. Dan, man, thank you again for joining us here tonight. And, dude, always a pleasure, man. Even off the air and in the pits and all that other good stuff, dude, I love chatting with you. And I know it's tough to get a couple of words out of you when you're at the track, because, you know, you're busy and everything. But
man, just come in and grab a hold of me. That's usually what everybody else does. Just come
listen,
in.
I ain't grabbing a hold of you, man. I'm too old for that shit anymore.
I don't want to roll around no more.
Especially now, I see you got your quad to get around a lot easier now. So we'll never see you.
I probably should walk a little bit more, but
so we can go run. I'll do that with you.
No. I ran last week, man. I ran from Hogan's trailer to my trailer and back, and I'm I'm good for about 3 weeks now.
All right, brother. Listen, man,
all right, guys. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate everything you guys do, man. Just like Grant said, you know, if it wasn't for the photographers and guys like you, and like Doug Elkins started this whole, you know, the deal there, and just everybody else, man, it's cool to be on this stuff and do this stuff with it, you know. But we can go on and on for hours and hours, you know. And
100%.
Whatever you do, if you ever book Butch Hill, if you get him on here, do clear to like 8 hours, man, because he went to Florida twice with us both times, and what a blast, man. But back to this real quick, you get an old school racer, man, you hear all the stories that he's seen and did.
Yes.
And it's cool to it's cool to see the old school stuff. And I always joke that I'm the youngest old school racer you got, and I bet you some people would definitely agree with that.
Yeah, that's why I've been trying to find some old school guys, but a lot, you know, it's hard because, you know, we connect through social media, and a lot of these old timers, they don't have social media, so you need connections. You know what I mean?
Yeah. My father's still got a.
We're trying. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
Double D, man, Double D has a flip phone. He won't use anything but a flip phone. You know?
Yeah, they won't give them up.
All right, all you guys with them smartphones and stuff like that, and your space book.
I gotta get the kids. My kids. He's like, Dad, what's up with your phone? I was like, listen, I spent all my money on your V-Bucks for what is that? What the hell they call that thing?
That's above my pay grade, buddy.
Crap.
Yeah.
Right? I was like, so this is why I have
He's over here going Fortnite.
Yeah, see? Right? And, yeah, that's embarrassing. Don't pull your phone out. You kidding me, dude? You're 6 years. You know what? Stop talking to me.
Yeah.
She's in the garage. She's texting on my phone. I'm like, who the hell are you texting? Well, Papa. She's over there on the phone. I'm like, all right, whatever you got to do, kid. How about it?
Yeah, all the time. Yeah, can I use your phone? I'm like, yeah, because I don't use it. So, yeah, go ahead.
They could figure it out in less than 5 minutes, too.
Yeah, man.
It's crazy.
Here's the boss right here. Say hi, Sid.
Hey there.
What's up, Sid?
Hi.
I was impressed when you had your little thing going there. I was impressed by the little girl there. She was picking off names that you didn't even come up with.
Yeah, well, I mean, I got the 96 and stumbled, but now it's like Bobby Albert and you had the other guy, Jim Bobbitt used to race there. And what about Billy?
Billy, yeah.
Good point. I forgot about Billy. You race him so much you forget about it,
Yep.
Yeah.
But,
good stuff.
You got anything to say?
No.
She's out.
Yep.
But, no, so pretty cool. She'll be racing go-karts here soon. So
Heck yeah. Then we'll get her on.
Now,
yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we'll have her right on the show. Yep.
Cool.
We'll bring her on.
See what happens, right?
Yeah, man. Danny, lots of luck to you, man. We'll see you at at one of these races here soon. But best of luck to you, man. You guys are rolling really good here so far in 2021. Thanks for joining us, brother.
Thanks, guys. Man. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Take care.
See ya. Bye, Steve.
All right, so man, it's 8:30.
I know, right?
That's awesome, dude.
There you go.
But guys like that grew up around the sport of racing, so much knowledge, and everybody sees one thing, and what they don't see is behind the scenes and how much you help people and all that other good stuff. So, all right, so we paid some bills. Andy Crane, ABC Design, of course, TGIR merch, all them guys. So this Saturday. Orange County Fair Speedway. I want to thank Mr. Crackers, Pete Reynolds, for sending out the press release and kind of making us a little bit famous here this week. I also want to thank my sister, Kim, at the Orange County Fair Speedway, along with Doug Delgarian and the entire staff there. So we had mentioned it last week, and I didn't see a hard charger on what is that, Talking Dirty, right, that those guys have.
Yep.
And so I figured instead of complaining about it, let's I could talk for a few more. Yeah, probably. So instead of complaining, I decided to do something about it. So an additional that's this Saturday, street stock guys, an additional $100 bonus to the hard charger of the feature. Gary, what else do you got going on?
All right, so we have an additional $100 to the highest finishing outsider. If we have no outsiders that come and it's all Middletown regulars, that $100 will go to the 7th place finisher. We have an additional $100 going to 4th place finisher. And obviously the top money, and there's also a mystery bonus that will be revealed Saturday night. This is going out to the top 2 in points. So whoever the top 2 in points are, we will meet with you guys, and we got a challenge for you guys for an additional $200 bonus on top of that. So in reality, if you're the top 2 in points, and with the winner's purse and the other things, you could walk out of there with probably close to $1,000 payday. But again, we'll discuss that with the top 2. Thanks to Jimmy Divot for coming up with that idea and donating to that as well. And Big Mama Motorsports.
Yeah. So Tommy Vi and Big Mama, that's awesome. So we want to see the division grow at Orange County. We don't want to see the division go away, man. So listen, knock the cobwebs off those cars, bring them out. Orange County Fair Speedway this Saturday night. It is their second points night. We've raised quite a bit of money. We are no Jordan Sheehan, but I love the division. I'm going to be biased about it. That's my division. I love the division. I'm still racing in the division. Gary and I both agree. Later on in the year, we want to do the same thing at Bethel for the street stocks, and also at Court Speedway, we want to do the same. Yeah.
Yeah, I see, and also Rick Ryder put up $88 to 15th place finisher if we get 15 cars. I'm hoping we get 15 cars there that night. I don't know. Lebanon Valley opens up Saturday night, and I know Bethel opens Saturday, so I don't know if we're going to get that many.
Yeah, thank you.
But anybody that has a street stock that was thinking of race in Orange County, I mean, it's kind of a, you're trying to make the class grow and stick around. And, Brett talked about it before, and I'm sure he's got a certain number that he's expecting on a week in, a week out, and putting up extra money. And, you kind of got to support it. So let's hope. I like to see the class stick around because on most nights, street stocks put on the best races.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. And so, Gary, you will be there Saturday. You will talk to all the winners in Victory Lane. I will not be there. We've chosen to run Bethel again this year.
Yep.
My daughters will be there. They will be there representing me, which is not a bad thing because they're more well behaved than I am.
Okay.
Rick Ryder, thank you so much. Always a fan of the street stocks, Rick, and we appreciate you. And I believe Rick may be the new voice of the Accord Speedway this year.
Yes, that's what he was.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
so,
he was telling me that.
To you on that, long-time announcer. This guy's a lot of talent. Rick is amazing to listen to, and So listen, man, it's been a busy week. I'm tired. Again, thank you to all our sponsors. Thank you to everybody who jumped in and threw money to us to help support this awesome division. It really is. And hopefully it just gets better and better and better, and bring it back to the days when it was 60 of us trying to qualify for 24 spots. Man, that would be amazing. If anybody is out there and has a street stock and you need tires, or you're missing something else, man, PM me, send me a PM. I probably have it. You can come get it. Just give it back, and if you break it, don't worry about it. I got more. So if you need street tires, something like that, let me know. I got you. I'll hook you up, and lots of luck to everybody. As my dad would say, use your heads, guys. And it's
a lot. It's good money on the line. Hopefully, get too crazy.
Normally, you don't get stuff like this until Eastern States weekend, and I hope everybody is able to drive their cars on the trailer again, man. Just a lot of give and take out there, guys, and do the right thing. And so opening night for Bethel Motor Speedway, of course, that is this weekend, Saturday night. That'll be, I think it's all divisions. That's BMS mods, street stocks, pro stocks, 4 cylinders, I think legends, bandoleros. I believe Accord Speedway. Is it another practice night for them tomorrow?
Accord, yes. Tomorrow night, yeah.
Awesome.
Tomorrow,
and great to see that place coming back around.
Yep.
And Orange County, I believe this weekend is what modifieds and street stocks with.
Yeah, modifieds got that.
Sportsman, rookie sportsman.
I don't believe rookies. I think just regular sportsmen.
Just regular sportsmen.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'll tell you, a lot of great racing going on, and where else? I think Stewie was the big winner here this week, right? He swept Bristol.
Yeah, he swept Bristol, and then he went to Delaware and won down there too. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So
started, I think, 9th in that race, I believe.
Yeah. He's rolling pretty decent.
Yes, he is.
But
Yep.
Thanks, Kim.
Yeah, I just want to say next week's show we're gonna swing paces. We're gonna. I know they have that new IMCA New York Penn thing, so we actually hooked up, and we have some drivers from the IMCA modified ranks that are going to come on and chat with us. So, for people that don't really get to see them, like us, we don't, they're not really around here. So I think that'll be a cool, interesting show. We might even learn a little something from these guys.
Yeah, dude, I absolutely love those cars. That's the Bethel Modifieds were, when they originally started, was an IMCA style car that was supposed to be like their division, and now they've morphed into whatever the hell they are now. I think Asphalt Modifieds or something like that. So I don't know.
Yeah, and that series that Jake has put together, man, he's doing a really good job with that. I try to get him to come on the show and talk with us. But yeah, he's got guys literally coming from Michigan, like they're traveling in to do this.
Nice.
Yeah, so he's doing a really good thing. Kudos to Jake for putting that thing together. And because IMCA cars, they're not really, they're kind of like a dying breed around here. So
around here, yeah.
Yeah, around here. So it's cool that someone took the initiative to spark that thing back up, and that's kind of cool to be able to talk to some of them guys. Give them a little recognition too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So
we'll both have to do our homework on the drivers.
I ain't doing nothing.
Yeah, figures.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man. All right. So best of luck to everybody this weekend, man. Be safe. And Gary, thank you for all that you have done for us here tonight. And again, man, thanks for hanging out with us. And we will see everybody next week.
Yep. And I'll see all the Street Stock guys Saturday night.
Yeah, dude. Good luck, guys. Be smart, and as my dad says, use your heads, guys.
Yes,
so
sir.
you put that helmet on, put your brain back in your helmet, and all right, guys and gals, we'll see you at a racetrack. Have fun.
Later.